Hi everyone, my name is Corinne Heffernan and welcome to my first Disney Deep Dive video. The topic I'll be exploring throughout the semester is the musical Minds of Disney. For each video, I'll be picking a new composer from the Disney archives, and I want to explore their personal life, their involvement with the company, and how Disney has impacted them in their career since. So as you can tell, my first artist that I'll be talking about is Phil Collins. So Phil Collins was born on January 30th, 1951 in London. His father was an insurance agent and his mother was a talent agent. He was given a toy drum set for Christmas when he was 5 years old, and that really kickstarted his love of music and his love of drumming. It was very clear from an early age that he was a diamond in the rough musician. His aunt gave him lessons in piano and percussion, but at 14, he dropped out of school to become a full-time musician. He did some freelance performance in both music and in acting, and not many people know this, but he actually got his start in Oliver in the West End production. So when he started his career after dropping out, he began making a name for himself in the London rock scene in the early 60s. And while this was going on, Genesis had started with popular musicians Peter Gabriel, Anthony Phillips, and Chris Stewart. But in 1969, Stewart left the band, so newcomer Phil Collins, who had been gaining some buzz in the London rock community, was offered his spot. And he went on to bigger and better things with the band. Genesis is known for its progressive rock style. It was met with heavy criticism at first, but a lot of current rock artists give credit to Genesis for paving the way for this alternative rock style. And it is believed that Genesis has sold over 100 million albums worldwide. And in 2010, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In the late 80s, after reaching new heights of stardom and musicianship, Collins went on to pursue a solo career where he toured the world, won several Grammys, and generated an adoring fan base. However, in 1996, Phil Collins' career had hit a little bit of a lull. His album Dance Into the Light was met with mixed reviews, and he was getting a little old to be a rock and roll artist, so he was looking for a fresh start in his career. And that's where Tarzan comes in. So Tarzan is based on the 1912 story Tarzan of the Apes, and it was the first animated version of this story. Development for the film began right around the lull in Phil Collins' career in 1995, but it wasn't released until 1999. When thinking of the right artist to bring in to write the score, executive Chris Montan thought of Phil Collins right away after seeing the success that they had with Elton John writing the score for The Lion King. Phil Collins was immediately intrigued by this offer. He said it was almost tailor-made for him. He got to create a score with tribal percussion, tremendous motifs, and vocals, and he even drew upon his personal experience, thinking of his daughter when writing the film's lullaby, You'll Be in My Heart. This was the exact chance he was looking for. When he was writing the score, he collaborated with musician Mark Mancina to write the overtures and the overall score. They bounced ideas off of each other and became close friends in the process. So the Tarzan soundtrack has left a lasting legacy. Upon its release, it was a commercial success, and a huge reason behind it was the unique rock soundtrack. Critics praised Phil Collins and Mark Mancina, and You'll Be in My Heart went on to win an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a Grammy Award. There was even a stage production of the show using Mark Mancina and Phil Collins' score. They even created some new songs for the stage adaptation of Tarzan. And as you can see in these pictures here, You'll Be in My Heart and Strangers Like Me are some of Phil Collins' most played songs, which is totally unique to them, unlike other Disney rock and roll composers like Elton John and Billy Joel. The Tarzan soundtrack has also kind of generated a meme culture around it. One of my favorites is the guy playing the piano on fire, and the internet has really seemed to love the soundtrack, and streaming has gone up for the album. So why did I choose to talk about Phil Collins? There's a lot of Disney composers that I could have talked about, but I think it's so interesting how Phil Collins was so impacted by his time with Disney. His overall career changed after that. He was able to go on to have a good solo career. He won several awards, and he was forever changed after writing the score for Tarzan. I also picked Phil Collins for personal reasons. My dad and I have a special connection over the movie Tarzan. It always seemed to be playing in my house. And when I found out that Phil Collins wrote the song for his daughter, it made me a little emotional and made me think of my dad. That's a picture of me and my dad right there. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned a little bit more about Phil Collins, his involvement with Disney, and how Disney changed his life. Thank you.